It's just like, you're almost just like, oh, I wish I'd done that. I wish I'd done that sooner.
I felt like a boy. I wanted to be a boy. I would ask my mom if I could be someday. If there was ever a time for self-discovery, 2020 was definitely the year. Isolation forced a lot of people to spend time with themselves and figure out who they are and what they want to do. Some people rediscovered themselves, and others finally came to accept themselves for who they are. After years of having to bottle himself up and feeling like his true self was hidden in a female body, we came to know as Ellen Page. He introduced himself as Elliot.
It's being able to touch my chest and feel comfortable in my body for probably the first time.
Sadly, his transformation came at a price. And just 2 months after making his life-changing announcement, Elliot and his wife of 3 years had their own announcement to make. The couple was calling it quits. You're watching Rumor Juice. Remember to subscribe to our channel and give that notification bell a ring so that you can be the first to know when we upload new content. In 2014, Elliot stood up at the podium and announced that he was gay. This was before he had made his transition to physically becoming a man, so at that time, he was coming out as a gay woman. I'm here today because I am gay, and because maybe I can make a difference to help others have an easier and more hopeful time. Regardless, for me, I feel a personal obligation and a social responsibility. Little did the world know that this was just Elliot's first step to coming to terms with his true self. In his speech, he confessed that he had been in pain for so many years, and he was afraid of not being accepted for how he was as a queer person.
How nervous were you?
I'm the most nervous I've ever been in my life, for sure. I think my biggest fear of doing it was even just having a panic attack, quite frankly. But, you know, I was just so ready to do it and, quite frankly, so excited to do it.
His mental health, physical health, and inner spirit suffered because he had been unable to be who he truly was. This was a big deal for him, and he felt like he needed to come out and stand by his fellow LGBTQ community and speak for all those who had never been able to speak for themselves.
What I'm talking about is the fact that LGBTQ people, particularly the most marginalized in our community, really face so many difficulties every single day. And this is something people need to understand.
Perhaps it was also through his powerful speech that Elliot was able to meet his future wife. Elliot and Emma Portner had their first encounter with one another on social media in 2017. It was a very modern-day romantic story. Elliot came across a video of Emma dancing on Instagram and was completely entranced by her. He messaged her immediately and knew that somehow, someday, he had to make a plan for them to meet one another. I thought, damn, this girl is so talented and so cool. I knew right away we were both creative spirits. He thought when he saw Emma's video. The pair went on to collaborate on a few videos together. Sometimes Elliot would sing and Emma would dance, and sometimes they would both dance together. It was beautiful, captivating, and artistic.
Plans to collaborate again?
Yeah.
It's up to her. She does it all. She makes it look like I can dance somehow.
Yeah.
It's a fly.
Yeah, we'll probably do another dance film in the recent future and maybe write a film together. Yeah.
Watching them work together, it was clear that their chemistry was undeniable, and there had to be something more happening behind the scenes. Elliot and Emma made their first red carpet appearance as a couple later that year and made it official to the world. As a dancer and choreographer, she was not used to the fame that Elliot had been accustomed to for most of his life. Being with Elliot wasn't like any of her previous relationships, and she had to get used to having a life in the public eye and being followed by paparazzi. It's quite crazy, but if anything, I'm happy about it. We try to hold hands in public, I tried to join him at movie premieres. It's a chance for queerness to be out in the open.
And all we're asking for is equality, and to grow up in a society that doesn't make us feel less than, that doesn't make us feel shame, and doesn't make us have to deal with the repercussions of that, which are really destructive.
You're no doubt familiar with Elliot's work. And we're not just talking about Juno or the Umbrella Academy. Paige has been gracing our screens with outstanding performances for a very long time. Paige had the breakout role in the movie Hard Candy. It's definitely not a film for the faint-hearted.
A lot of the roles you get as a teenage girl are annoying stereotypes that I often find sexist.
So here was this role that I could really dive into and became so passionate about.
The plot tells the story of a young girl who kidnaps a man she believes to be a pedophile and tortures him. At the age of just 16, the young actor showed an incredible amount of maturity and talent that audiences were completely blown away by his performance. Elliot Page played the starring role in the film at the tender age of 16, with the blessing of his parents. Yeah, hard candy was intense. My dad came with me to do that. He shared in an interview with The Guardian, but they were always cool with the subject matter. They trusted me. He really must have known that acting was his destiny, and it must have shown. From then on, Elliot's career soared. He was winning numerous awards for his acting skills and proving to the world that he was to be taken seriously as an actor. However, while he was doing so well in his career, he felt like he still wasn't being completely honest with the world and letting them see who he really was inside. Despite having become so familiar with his face, audiences never knew who he really was and how he really felt inside. Despite having come out gay, Elliot was still fighting an internal battle he was unsure how to come to terms with. He and Emma kept most of their relationship on the quiet side, having a private and intimate wedding ceremony early in 2018. The date of their wedding is still unknown. Page just told the world they were married with a sweet Instagram post captioned, "Can't believe I get to call this extraordinary woman my wife." Even described his wedding night as the most magical night of his life. It seemed that all was going well with the couple, sharing cute pictures of each other on social media and gushing about one another in interviews.
My wife.
He and I have an indefatigable connection and this undying desire to be near each other.
Yeah.
I love, my wife is like one of the most talented people I've ever met, and watching her perform live or, watching her work, she's a dancer and choreographer, is just absolutely breathtaking.
As 2020 rolled in and the chaos of lockdown issued, the couple's posts on social media seemed to go silent. It was assumed that perhaps the young family was taking time off social media like many other celebrities during lockdown to spend time with their families and take a break from the public eye that they needed. However, it was during this time that Elliot was thinking about his true self and how he really felt inside. I had a lot of time to think on my own, to really focus on things that I think, in so many ways, unconsciously, I was avoiding. Finally, at the end of 2020, Elliot Page came out of the shadows and proudly announced himself as a transgender male in an Instagram post. He announced that his pronouns are he, they, and that his name is Elliot. He had chosen the name from one of his favorite movies, E.T., and even got a tattoo on his arm that says, EP Phone Home.
E.T. Home Phone.
I loved E.T. when I was a kid and always wanted to look like the boys in the movies, right? He went on expressing overwhelming gratitude for those who had supported him during this life-changing time and emotional time. I can't begin to express how remarkable it feels to finally love who I am enough to pursue my authentic self, he wrote, adding that he has been endlessly inspired by members of the trans community. Page received great support from the community and quickly became one of the most famous transgender people in the world. He gained more than 400,000 new followers on Instagram on that day alone. Thousands of articles were published, likes and shares reached millions. Emma commented on Page's announcement with her own post captioning, "I'm so proud of @Elliot Page. Trans, queer, and non-binary people are a gift to this world. I also ask for patience and privacy, but that you join me in this fervent support of trans life every single day," she had written on Instagram. With the spotlight shining brightly on Elliot and his relationship, fans were questioning how the couple was doing after such a big announcement that would surely have an effect on their relationship in some way. At the beginning of 2021, Elliot and Emma shocked the world when they filed for divorce. After much thought and careful consideration, we have made the difficult decision to divorce following our separation last summer. We have the utmost respect for each other and remain close friends. If that wasn't enough, both Elliot and Emma have removed most of the pics of each other from their Instagrams, which is saddening on its own because that's where they both announced their marriage. For now, we don't know why the couple has parted ways, although some have speculated it has to do with Elliot's transition, considering this news comes just 2 months after he announced he's transgender. So while we don't know what led to the divorce, what we do know is that they're both still on good terms and remain friends, which is always a good thing. Whatever the reasons may be, we couldn't be happier for Elliot finally being able to share his true self with the world, and we hope he's able to encourage others to do the same.